up, guys?
Fran, you've got a bunch of 6'7", 6'8" guys now. What can they all do? What will their roles be at this point?
The good thing is all those guys are versatile. They can play different positions. They can all dribble, pass, and shoot. So each of them fit perfectly into what we're trying to do.
Fran, a lot of new faces on top of that. What's the focus right now? Is it building chemistry? Is it just getting to know each other? What's that focus?
You know, we knew what we had, Cooper and Chris, and then we felt like we needed maybe to get one or two guys out of the portal. We got two. I think they fit what we lost, but they also fit the guys we had coming back. Clearly, we had a really good nucleus coming back. 3 guys, a couple of other scorers, and other guys that were really contributors, significant contributors. So, with all those guys, we needed to get some more depth, some more size. I think we'll be a really good rebounding team. We didn't have a lot of depth in the front court the last couple of years. We do now.
What specifically do the 2 freshmen and Traore bring?
Well, versatility, number one, but Cooper, he can really score. He can play more than one position. Handles it, stretches the floor, shoots threes, but also will rebound the ball. Chris has got tremendous athletic power. Phenomenally intense player. Really, really plays hard. He's a good athlete, as you're going to see around the country. Seydou is skilled, also versatile. Played a year already at a very high level. Obviously, I'm very familiar with that league, coached in it for 5 years. And great respect for the coach he played for. So feel really good about him. Again, he can pretty much play 2, 3, 4. So it's really love those 3 guys.
When you went through the evaluation process throughout the last season, were there boxes you wanted to check this off season or kind of situate yourself in the season?
We already knew the 2 guys we had coming in. So it was just a matter of, especially with Peyton, was he going to come back? Another reason why we wanted to go get a couple guys out of the portal. Clearly we needed a point guard. With Tony leaving, so we needed a point guard. Drew's terrific, tremendous leadership skill, plays defense, can score, but fits perfectly into our culture. So that was one clearly needed. And then we felt like we needed to bring another front court guy in, especially if Peyton didn't come back. But either way, we wanted to make sure that he fit with what we needed, and he does.
Fran, at the age of, let's just call it pay for play, you have a guy like Owen Freeman who values, loyalty and wanting to stay loyal to the coaches that recruited him. What does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to his teammates. Things have gone really well for him here. Not surprisingly, he's a terrific player, an even better person. But I think he feels like he made great strides last year, and he's really ready to make even more this year. He's playing at an incredibly high level right now.
What is this academy that Chris played at last year, the NBA Academy, and how did he first come to your attention?
Yeah, so last year, the NBA Academy ran simultaneously with the NCAA Academy and also an AAU tournament in Memphis. So we were down there watching all those guys, and that's where we saw Chris. The NBA Academy is really well done. The people that run it, Greg Colucci, Brian Cardinal. You guys may remember Brian. He played at Purdue, played 13 years in the league. Those guys are really, really good. And they just had one last weekend. I was down in Atlanta. They had it. So there's teams from Africa, Australia, Europe, Latin America, and so there's coaches that, well, actually, a good friend of mine I grew up with lives in Senegal and works for the NBA Academy and works with those guys over there. And they put these teams together and they train and they drill them, they do academic stuff. So we saw Chris there last year. just being under-recruited, I thought he played really well. I felt like he provided something that we were looking for in that class. So we're excited to get him. He's been really good.
As we've talked to guys the last couple of weeks, they've mentioned wanting to get better defensively and that being a focus. What's gone into that this offseason?
Well, we always wanted to be good defensively. You know, we've made some changes on some things in terms of how we're going to guard stuff, but also feel like the guys we brought in are capable of doing that. Athletically, sometimes, you know, when you don't have a lot of depth, you know, the defense might struggle a little bit. I mean, you think about 2 years ago, we played 3 guys, you know, 1,000 minutes each. We just didn't have a lot of depth there, but now we do. So hopefully that intensity level will be able to ramp up with guys that have some fresh legs and some fresh bodies out there.
Fran, there's a lot of new players with this team, but getting a chance to talk in the last couple of weeks, you wouldn't know if they got here 3 years ago or 2 months ago. I guess what's allowed them to kind of feel like they're at home despite kind of, you got one coming from Canada, one from
Yeah. I mean, you know, you think about Coop. I mean, he came to camp in 4th grade, so he's been coming here for a long time. Chris fit in immediately when he visited, you know, but he's obviously lived all over. You know, think about he and Logie, the journey that they're on. They've lived all over the place. You know, Drew, he fell in love with it when he came and visited. Just had a great time, fit in with our guys, and you know, so we're pretty pleased with that. I mean, because it doesn't always work out that way. But we felt like with this group, the 2 portal guys and the 2 freshmen, that it would be pretty seamless, and it has been.
When the you-know-what hits the fan, do you feel they've kind of built the confidence to kind of stick with each other? Because there will be points this fall and winter where they'll get frustrated with each other, especially being new guys.
Yeah, you know, we haven't had too much problem with that. I mean, these guys, they stay pretty positive. We stay positive with them. You know, the league's tough. They know that. That's what they sign up for. But yeah, I'm not worried about that.
When you first were just getting introduced to Seydou, watching his film, what stood out?
Yeah, Seydou had a really good freshman year. Like I said, I mean, he put up really solid numbers. I think he's a better shooter than his numbers show, and I think you'll see that improve. But he can put it on the deck. He passes it well. He's long, bouncy. He's gonna be really good for us for a long time.
Fran, you talk about changing things a little bit defensively, but it just seems like Seydou and Drew and maybe Chris and Cooper in there too, just like as individuals improve your defense. Would you agree with that?
I think, you know, potentially, I hope so. You know, we'll see, you know, when we get into battle, but I think you're probably right on that.
Can you tell us more about Riley's year last year? I know he got sick, but he grew literally.
Riley's he keeps getting better. You know, he was an integral part of the scout team last year. He does a great job with that. You know, as well he was redshirting, but he's worked hard in the weight room. He's an athlete, and with him, you know, as long as he continues to be consistent, he's really good a lot of the times, but he's working on this consistency.
Coach, what roles do you envision some of your newcomers having their input on this?
So we're probably a little too early to tell, but I think the new guys will play. They expect to play. I expect them to play. So it'll be a function of how they continue to grow, how quickly they pick things up, what we need them to do. And does anybody get hurt? God forbid. We hope that doesn't happen.
A few more questions. How's Patrick doing, and you know, what has it been like, kind of adjusting?
Yeah, he's doing really well. I mean, I remember when he first went down there. I mean, you think about it, he was pretty comfortable being here for essentially 5 years, but you know, he was around here all the time. When he was in high school, he was around here all the time. He was in elementary school, so everything was new. So that was one of the reasons why he did it. So really likes the staff, the players. They have a really good culture there.
Fran, wanted to ask about the 2025 recruiting class. Just kind of curious about your thoughts of where that group stands and what you're potentially looking to add before that group is wrapped up.
We're on some guys that we really like, and I think we'll obviously identify. We probably need a guard for sure, maybe two, and another big. But it's a little bit early for that. We got some guys coming in for visits, set up. Expect typically to get a couple of those guys, but you don't always. Sometimes they visit 3 or 4 schools, go somewhere else. But there's plenty of good players available. It's a good class. We'll get some good ones.
What's it like for you going through the recruiting process with Jack, knowing that he wants to go somewhere else?
That's been intriguing because a lot of guys still come up to me and they don't believe it necessarily, and they don't want to spin their wheels, which I respect. So they'll be pretty direct, and they need to be. But a lot of guys, he played really well last weekend, and he played really well at NBA Top 100, so he's getting a lot of interest. And so we're having frank discussion. He's got some visits lined up, so just excited for him to go through the process.
All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.